So, I just saw a movie and it's Scoob. It's the new Warner Brothers animated movie. It's their latest attempt to make a Scooby-Doo franchise movie, except this time, instead of it being live action, it's animated. It seems like a smarter choice for kids to get sucked into. They probably enjoy it more. However, that may have been an interesting choice to do, but there are still a lot of interesting choices they made that really didn't work too well with the movie for me. This time in this movie, there is far less mystery and more action, which is what you would expect nowadays in a movie like this. Shaggy and Scooby get taken by the Blue Falcon and they have to stop Dick Dastardly. Dick Dastardly is trying to open a door to get Cerberus to save his dog and to get money. Scooby-Doo somehow is involved with that. So I don't mention Velma, Daphne, and Fred really in that little synopsis because they're only together for about 10 to 15 minutes in the movie. That's about it. So we get to see a little bit of Scooby and Shaggy's relationship in the beginning, how they meet. So after the other three are introduced, that's when their personalities get to shine a little bit more and we get to see a little bit more of the dynamic between the entire game. However, these scenes are pretty short overall and they really aren't throughout the entire movie. And then after that, it's pretty much just a bunch of references and cameos to other Hanna-Barbera properties. I know they do Blue Falcon, wacky races, like Dick Dastardly is the villain. They show Captain Caveman. Dino Mud is with Blue Falcon. There's a girl from Josie and the Pussycats. I don't really remember her name. She's just kind of there. Doesn't really do much. Now, I don't have a problem with Warner Brothers doing a Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe. I think it's easy to do, really. You just do your own film, and then you can make a reference to any other Hanna-Barbera property. You don't really need them to like go on adventures and stuff. The crazy thing is, Hanna-Barbera has done specials and many episodes like this where they do a bunch of crossovers. It would seem like the writers would have a concept from this, but unfortunately not. The actors the studio chose to voice these characters is like the right idea, but it's just the writing is off and it doesn't really match their tone of what they're going for. Now, Frank Welker voices Scooby-Doo. He's voiced him forever. He's definitely the best voice actor in the movie. Jason Isaacs as Dick Dastardly is solid as well. He may not sound like the original voice actor, but he does match the physique and the new iconic look, which I do like. Now, some of the weirder choices that the studio made for voice acting was Mark Whalberg as Blue Falcon. I don't think it's a bad choice. I just think Mark Whalberg sounds like he's doing an impression of Ryan Reynolds. And then also Ken Jeong voices Dino Mutt, who I thought was doing a Bill Hader impression. Again, these are good choices. They just need a little bit more to make their voices stand out. But who knows? Maybe if I see this movie again, which I won't, but if I do see it again, I would clearly be able to tell it's Ken Jeong and Mark Whalberg. But the oddest choice out of the entire cast is Will Forte as Shaggy. Now, if the story had a lot more jokes, funny moments, or if the movie gave Will Forte some opportunities to do some improv as the Shaggy character, then, I'd probably like him a little bit more. But the movie isn't funny at all. It's mostly just references that adults would understand, but not kids. Also, Shaggy's voice is just a little high-pitched. It definitely sounds like an impersonator and definitely not like Will Forte is capturing that Shaggy essence. I would have just gone with Matthew Lillard, who did Shaggy in first two live action movies and pretty much did Shaggy for any other animated Scooby-Doo show right after. As far as the animation goes, I like the designs. They are nicely updated. Scooby's design looks pretty much the same. The only difference that I enjoy is he has more of a 2D layout compared to everyone else. It's kind of similar to the Charlie Brown movie, like the Peanuts movie, and similar to the Fear character from Inside Out, how he has somewhat kind of like a flat surface to his body. One thing the Warner Brothers animators could have taken advantage of more is the actual movements though. Back in the original series, when Shaggy and Scooby would run, they run in place for about 3 seconds and you hear the classic bongos. And it's pretty classic because, that sound amplifies their actions, helps make it cartoonish, makes it exaggerated, makes it more entertaining and fun. That's really not there in the movie. Now, I do believe I've heard the bongos in the movie, but they just run They don't really run in place. They just kind of go. It's missing that exaggeration. It's missing that excitement. This is a movie that really should have been a sequel to a Scooby-Doo movie. Now, I know Warner Brothers is probably assuming that we all know about these characters and stuff, which I understand, but if they did give us a movie, then that movie would have let us see a lot more personality from the characters. We could have seen more relationships built up, and that would have helped make this movie a little bit better, because there are certain moments in the movie that, you know, just feel kind of sudden. But even if that movie was still made and this was a sequel, that really wouldn't make up the fact that this plot is really nonsensical and it's still just not that entertaining. There are some missed opportunities for fun animation gags. The voice acting is a mixed bag, and the characters are just not that interesting. It's truly a movie written by adults, and they're trying to keep up with the youths. I doubt we'll see a sequel, but if we do, I'm curious where it'll go. I would probably just skip out on this. You know, if you don't want to watch this, that's totally fine. You can watch any of the other Scooby-Doo animated movies. You can even watch the live action movies, at least those have mystery to it. Or you could watch Mystery Incorporated. It's on Netflix, as far as I know right now. At least that show has, you know, a long storyline. There are even crossovers from other stuff. There's an episode where Blue Falcon shows up. So overall, I'm feeling a 4.2 out of 10. But who knows? Maybe that'll change. Probably not. So yeah.